Hi and welcome to Integrity Talks. We are filming today at the stunning location of the Protea Hotel Breakwater Lodge. It's at the waterfront in the heart of the CBD. I'm Kia Johnson. I'm a TV and radio presenter. I'm also an ambassador for the Worldwide Fund for Nature. And I have my fabulous co-host alongside me, Charissa Bloomberg. She's a celebrity psychologist and also an integrity leadership specialist. Now, today we have a very special guest. He is the Provincial Traffic Chief for the Western Cape. His name is Kenny Africa, and he's going to be discussing all things integrity related.
Yes, so excited to be here. Mr. Africa, I know you said we can call you Kenny, but I prefer Mr. Africa. It is such an honor to meet you. I hear you on the radio so often, and to see you in person, I'm super excited, and to pick your brain. But I think, Kia, let's ask this wonderful man what he does, and then I can just bombard him with all my integrity questions.
I think so, yes. For me, personally, it's just you always hear Traffic Chief Kenny Africa doing this, Traffic Chief Kenny Africa doing that. But what exactly does your job entail? What does it mean to be the Traffic Chief?
Well, to be the Traffic Chief of a province like the Western Cape province, people are expecting of me to make our roads safe. Mm-hmm. And to keep our roads safe, it is not a simple job. It is a 24/7 job. 24/7 in the sense that I never sleep. Because anybody who dies in the Western Cape on our roads, whether it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning in church, the first person they contact is Kenny Africa. So I'm always on top of it, because I want to know what's going on in our province, and also what can we do better? How can we work smarter? How can we get our officers to be out there, to be of a great help to our motorists on a daily basis?
Yes. So, Mr. Africa, for me, it is so important, because if integrity is doing the right thing, which it is, how do we not get people to buy into that concept? Because if people did the right thing, there'd be less fatalities, less drunken driving, less texting on the road, less being on the phone, less shooting through those traffic lights, if we all did the right thing. So for me, that is huge. How can we get people to buy into that? And wouldn't it be great to start a campaign, do the right thing? Because for me, the psychological side is so many people disobeying rules. Not only they're potentially dying, but look at all of this. And every Monday I'm on that, listen to you, and you say there's been always more than 10 deaths on the weekend. I mean, that's not acceptable. And that's also got to affect you on some level.
Yeah, definitely. It is worrying to us that so many people are dying on a daily basis, not only in the Western Cape, but throughout South Africa. Yes. One death is one too many. Absolutely. And we believe in the Western Cape that we are doing something right. Yeah. If you take, for example, over the festive season, we brought the fatality rate down with 23.7% in 2018, and this year, 2019-20, it was a 23.7% decrease. So that's a good sign. Yeah. Somewhere somebody is listening to us. The other thing that is very important to us is the fact that it's not only motor vehicles that's on our roads, it's also motorcyclists, cyclists, pedestrians, and then also people using our roads to transport illegal substances. Now, people tend to ask me the question, but what has illegal substances to do with road safety? And I'm saying everything. Because drugs are killing our children in our province. Yes. And I said to my traffic officers, we need to start working smarter. Instead of stopping a person for just checking whether the driver has a driver's license or not, or whether the tires are smooth, do a thorough investigation, because our provincial traffic officers are working throughout the province, 50 kilometers away from Beaufort West, 10 kilometers away from Plettenberg Bay. So we're all over the south. And we are the only province in South Africa who's rendering a 24/7 service.
Wow.
None of the traffic officials throughout South Africa is rendering a 24/7 service. Just about 2 weeks ago, we arrested a person for being in possession of Abalone. We had another arrest where a person was arrested for being in possession of mandrakes, tablets. So all these illegal substances coming into our province, if we from Provincial Traffic Services side can stop just that, then we can help the South African police services. The other thing that is of great worry to us is drinking and driving.
Yes.
People tend to get behind the steering wheel of a motor vehicle and think nobody will stop them. They will get away with it. And I'm saying if you drink and drive on our roads in the Western Cape province, we will arrest you.
Yes.
And that's no joke. Come test me.
We're so happy about, because it's not only those drivers that are dying, they are knocking down children, animals. I have to say, I'm a big animal lover. Just knock them down and leave them there. It is horrific what's happening there. And we know that also your people, if I may call them that, are also putting their lives at danger, because you're stopping someone with drugs. Your life is in danger. But from the psychological aspect, and I have to ask this, being a psychologist, how do we get people to change that mindset so that they'll sit in their car and they'll actually be terrified and they'll stop and think, I'm doing the wrong thing. How do I, for me, and what's another thing, I know I'm jumping here because I'm passionate about this. What you all don't know is I'm a very nervous driver. I can go live on TV, but to drive on the road, Mr. Africa, even from here home, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm in the back mirror and I'm looking for the taxis. So for me, how do we get to change that mindset? And people are, Kia, have you experienced this? People they rush through the orange to the red traffic light. Yo, let's speed through. And then it goes green and they're texting. They are on the phone. Have you seen? Nobody's moving. And then I'm hooting like, could you please move? Oh no, we're on the phone. So the whole, for me, you're doing an amazing job and we all salute and commend you. But there comes that people have got to change mindsets. And that's the difficult task. I want people to think, do the right thing now for yourself, for your family, for other people. Yeah.
Well, I think I've got an answer on that.
We're waiting.
My answer is very simple.
It's very difficult to
Firstly,
change.
our traffic officers, police officers, men and women in blue need to get back to basics. Stop turning a blind eye towards those culprits who are endangering our animals, our little ones, scholars, and other road users on our roads. We need to do something about it. The officer standing at a four-way stop with his marked patrol vehicle where cyclists would pass by disregarding a red robot or a stop sign, and the officer is doing absolutely nothing. If we can stop that, change our own attitude, then we will make sure that we change the behavior of our motorists out there. We need to be more stricter, making sure that if you get a person overtaking in the face of oncoming traffic, endangering other people, arrest those bastards. Take them off the road and let them go to jail.
Agree.
That's the only way the people will listen.
Yes.
But if we're not going to do that, tomorrow that same motorist will do exactly the same or worse.
Exactly.
But I just feel that police officers and traffic officials, and also us as the citizens, we all play a collective role in trying to change our attitudes and in trying to change the way that we not only treat ourselves as a road user, but also how do we treat other motorists on the roads as well.
Respect for everybody else. Yes. And it comes back to that mindset, which is so hard to do, because we sit there, and I know I can sit in traffic and I suddenly just want to glance at the phone, and I have to go to my mindset and say, Charissa, you're training integrity, you're just checking your phone now, what are you doing? And it's that self-reflective talk that we've actually got to stop and say, I'm saying, then you have an argument with someone and you've got that road rage, we're not even talking about that, and then I'm so speeding because I'm so angry, and you have to learn to say, don't do this. What is the speed limit? What am I doing? What if an animal runs across? What if a kid runs across the road? It's a mindset that people must just stop and think that You know, they're putting everybody else at risk. And I think that's a message I want to get out today is, can they stop? Can they think about what they're doing? Because life is so short. 1 minute, it was recently, a child is standing on the corner with her mother, and the next minute she gets knocked down. She's dead. And a few minutes ago, you were talking about what I'm going to have for supper, and the next minute the road. So we must honestly be conscious, and I'm passionate about it, and I just want people to stop and self-reflect. Am I getting carried away?
That's okay. We always get carried away.
You know,
Two things that we need to bear in mind. We need to educate our people.
Yes.
And if we're not going to do that,
Yes.
we will never stop the ongoing carnage on our roads.
Yes.
So at first we must start with education. I've got 3 directorates in my chief directorate. Traffic training, where we train traffic officers. And then I've got the law enforcement directorate. Those are the traffic officers on the road. And then I've got the road safety management directorate. And they are the people who are educating our scholars, the people out there.
Yes.
So we're doing this on a daily basis. We also training our scholars during holiday times to prepare them for their learner licenses, especially our matrics. Making sure that when they go for the learner's license, that they are prepared. And currently we've got a 98% success rate.
Wow.
What we also brought into this whole exercise, this is the Road Traffic Management Corporation, the RTMC. They are sponsoring 100 scholars every quarter, where they pay for the learner's license fees, and they also pay for the driver's license fees. And my directorate then sort of educate and train the scholars so that they can get their learner's license very easy. And that's the one thing. The other thing is that we need to come on board with our law enforcers. You know, road safety is not only the government's responsibility. Road safety is everybody's responsibility. Now, the reason why I'm saying that we all need to come on board. For example, if you drive on the N2 between Somerset West and Cape Town any given time of the day, and you identify a person driving with a cell phone, we want you to take down the registration number of that vehicle and report that driver to us. We've got all our number in the Western Cape, 24/7, 021 946 1646. 021 946 1646. So anything that you experience on our roads, whether it's a person driving with a cell phone, whether it's a drunken driver, a reckless, negligent driver, whether it's your neighbor's child driving without the license, you can report that to my all our number in the Western Cape province, and we will deal with those culprits. In the moment this message is getting out there, people will think twice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You know why I'm smiling? Because I did this once. Someone did something illegal. I quickly whipped out the phone which was next to me, took a photo and put it on phone. And they said, but you are illegally taking a photo while you're driving. So, and it was the quickest way to get someone's number plate. So how do we
sort of like, how do you,
because it's,
balance that, I guess, because
yes. I'm taking
you
a photo,
you can't
driving,
be committing.
I cry.
But
that was the only way. They're driving away and we're taking
take the picture.
No, there's a huge difference. The law is saying that you're not allowed to talk on a cell phone whilst driving, or to text messages on a cell phone whilst driving. If you do this for emergency, but take a quick snap, so that you can have the evidence. You want to report something to us, you need the evidence.
That's where, so you have the allowance then to be able to do so. Okay, that's pretty great. So I would like to sort of go a little bit behind the scenes. Yourself, I mean, a day in your life, you know, where do you start, where do you finish? And you're also a family man as well. So how do you live your life with integrity? If there's one thing that so many people reflect about you as our traffic chief, is that you're not only implementing everything, but you live by it all the time. So I kind of want to get into your headspace and find out what a day is like for you.
Well, at first, when you are doing the job I'm doing, you need to set the example to your subordinates, to your traffic officers out there, and also to the broader public, the broader motorists out there. I started my career way back in 1974. The day when I decided to become a traffic officer. I'm originally from Genadendal, a little town in the Overberg. And I hitchhiked from Genadendal to Cape Town that Thursday. Because at that time, I already applied 4 times for this job as a traffic officer. And every time I received that time it was a telefax, a telegram. And they then said to me, sorry, you were just a day too late.
Oh, no.
And this specific day in August 1974, I then hitchhiked to Cape Town, and I got to Alfred Street in Cape Town, where the Provincial Department of Transport at that time were. And on the 6th floor, when I got to the 6th floor, I knocked at this door, number 602. And the next moment the door went open, and here a gentleman introduced himself to me as a Mr. Snyman. And he said to me, can I help you? I said, no, I want to become a traffic officer. I said, a traffic officer with that ponytail?
I
had long hair.
And I'm sorry, I can't imagine you.
She's now got an image and nothing else is going to go.
And I said to him, yes,
she knows me well. Yeah.
I want to become a traffic officer. And you know what the gentleman said to me? Sorry, you're just a day too late. I said, it can't be. And he reckoned, but what do you mean it can't be? I said, sir, but this is my 5th time. And another guy came in, a Mr. Foree. And he said, Mr. Foree, just go and have a look and see if this KHR Africa applied for this position as traffic officer before. And after a while he came back, he said, yes, I've got 4 applications. And he said to me, okay, we're going to give you an opportunity to come for an interview. We already had our interviews yesterday, but we're going to give you this opportunity.
Because your word was good and they saw you were not lying. Just cut the ponytail off and come for the interview.
But what I did not cut my hair.
Didn't cut the pony?
You kept it.
I came the next day, 8 o'clock, and we were sitting in a round table, and there was 6 of them around the table. And we started with the interview, and the first thing Mr. Snyman asked me, why didn't you cut your hair? And I said, no, sir, I will only cut my hair the moment I'm sure I'm going to get the job.
Oh, I like that.
And they went through the interview phase, and after the interview, he asked me, where will you be around about 4 o'clock this afternoon?
You sit at the hairdresser.
Make sure that you are near a telephone. We will phone you and give you the outcome of the interview. There was no cell phones at that time. And I went to my sister's house in Athlone, and 4 o'clock the afternoon, on the dot, the phone rang. And Mr. Snyman said to me, are you sitting or standing? I said, I'm sitting, sir. He said to me, first thing, make arrangements to cut your hair today. I said, no, sir, I'm not going to cut my hair until such time. He said, but I'm telling you that you were successful. So after the first 6 months, I decided to resign. You know, it was apartheid. Coming from a small little town, Genadendal, we did not had all these apartheid stories. It was just the colored community staying in Genadendal. And here, first time in my life, I'm experiencing working with other races, white people, black people, colored people, and I couldn't take it. And I decided to resign. And there was another colored guy with me at the center in Worcester at that time. And I wrote out my resignation and I gave it to him, and I said to him, Mr. Kibiru, can you just go through it, please? Is it okay? And he read through it and he said, wow, this is a wonderful resignation. Tore it up. I said, why did you tear it up? He said, no, you can't leave me alone. So we were 2, and our white colleagues was 8 or 9 at that time. And 6 months later, my second resignation. And Mr. Kibiru said to me, no, man, this is nonsense, blatant nonsense, and he tore it up again. And I said to him, Kippy, if I gonna stay here, I have to change my strategy. I have to come up with a new strategy, high standards, because there's no way that I'm gonna come anywhere in traffic. As a colored officer, there's no way you will stay on the ground level.
So you were quite ambitious.
I wanted to get to the top.
I see.
And I said to Mr. Snyman the day when he gave me the positive news, I said to him, I will never disappoint you. And after a year, I said, no, I'm disappointing this man because I can't do what I want to do. And I said to Mr. Kibiru, come sit next to me. This is my strategy. At that time, I wanted 4 things. The first one is to find out how many tickets a normal officer writes per month. What was the norm? And it came out on 30 tickets per officer per month in the Cape Province at that time. I said, okay, write down 30 is the norm, and next to that you write my standard. My target is 360. I said the second thing I want to do, drunken drivers. How many drunken drivers does an officer arrest per month in the Cape Province? And it came out 1 per officer. I said, okay, write it down, and next to the one you put my target, and that is 15. I want to arrest 15 people per month. I said, but that won't bring me to a higher position in traffic. What is the voluntary overtime that the officer works for the department on a monthly basis? And it came out on 12 hours per month. I said, put next to the 12 hours, Kenya Africa's target, 120 hours.
Wow.
And the 4th one was motor theft cases. And what we found was there was only 1 motor theft case in the whole of the Cape Province done by provincial traffic. And I said, I want to do 1 per month. And that very next month, I started with my new targets. And every month after month, I got to my targets.
Yeah. Wow.
And a year later, I was the first so-called colored traffic officer to be promoted to a senior.
Wow.
In the Cape Province.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I think amazing.
Yes.
I think we commend you and we salute you, and I think one day you must write a book.
But many people.
I could speak the whole day, but I think time constraints. But I just
But just to answer her original question, what is a day like in the life of Kenya Africa? I'm every morning, 4:15, I'm on my way to my office in Cape Town. Shortly after 5, I'm in my office. So my day starts at around about 4:15.
because you missed the traffic.
I miss the traffic, and then also most of my interviews I'm doing before 6 in the morning.
Yeah, okay.
All the radio stations, as you know, Kia.
Yes.
Then most of the time I will be the last officer to leave the office in the afternoon.
Goodness. Long days.
I am a firm believer of making contact with my officers. For example, if I'm on the road from Cape Town to Knysna or Beaufort West or Vredendal, doesn't matter, I will never drive past a traffic officer. If whether I'm in a hurry or not, I will stop and just have a word with the traffic officer to find out if he's okay or she's okay.
That's so
And just motivate them to make sure that they know that we are saying that the Western Cape government is a caring government.
Yes.
And I'm saying my department is a caring department. So I'm trying to be with them where an officer, for example, should arrest a person for being in possession of abalone, 4.5 million rands worth of abalone. I believe that we need to give that officer credit for the good work that he's been doing. So everybody knows Kenny Africa. My phone is 24/7.
And I see you left it on also while we were doing
It is on because if there's any emergency call coming in, I also believe that my phone should not ring more than 3 times.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's
Because it can be between life and death.
And death, yes.
And that's why, and I hope my priest won't hear this, but that's why my phone is on in church. So if there's something coming, I will walk out of church.
I'm sure you'll understand.
The other thing with this phone is this is the only thing that I will defend and
God with your life.
with my life, because my wife
And
wants
wife
to
has to
throw this into the
understand.
swimming pool. She can't wait that I'm going on retirement on the
then you can-
31st of July this year.
Oh,
And she's waiting
Oh,
so that
shame.
I can get rid of this phone. And I don't
That's gonna
believe it
be-
will happen.
That's very
I will
gonna
never
be
get
very
rid
hard.
of my phone. But I'm 24/7. Not only to the public out there, but also to the media. The media, I believe in sound relationships with the media. I think the relationship that I built since 1997, I don't think there's another person who's got so many contacts with the media. And this is the only way that we can get our messages through to the public out there, if we can use the media.
Yes. And that's why we're so grateful
Yeah.
you gave us your time. But I think we're running out of time.
We are, yes.
And I could sit and listen to, please write the book one day.
We'll buy it.
I
We'll
think
buy it.
After
We'll
the
write the
31st
forward.
of July, I will start
Okay.
with my
Oh,
book.
wonderful.
Yeah.
You have my number when it gets too much, because you're dealing the forefront really with the deaths and with everything. And I need to know who debriefs you. But on a different note, please, when you're training them, get into their head integrity, doing the right thing over and over. I think that's our message to
true.
everyone. And
Yeah,
I'm
I-
so grateful for
I
you
also,
coming.
I'm also a firm believer of integrity, and that is that to always be trustworthy.
Yes, set an example.
Always believe in other people,
Yes.
and what you also need to do is always prove to other people that you respect them.
Yes.
And you should never do anything to another person that you don't want to be done to yourself.
Well said. Thank you.
So I'm a firm believer of that, and I believe one thing in all the presentations that I'm doing, I'm also chairperson of International Road Safety Conference, where I chaired this conference for 7 years. I was first just a presenter, and so they asked me if I can't take the chairpersonship over. So I've been doing this, and one thing that I preach to the people that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, and this is very simple: do and make differences in other people's lives on a daily basis.
That is excellent. Thank
So
you.
true. You know, I would know that it's like Charissa was saying earlier to call you Kenny. It just found with everything you've just said, I'm like, Mr. Africa. That's the way I feel. And I know I've said wow a lot, but you are a wow person. Loving every single bit of what you're doing. We appreciate and value who you are, the time that you've put in, the commitment, the example that you're showing to everybody. It's just, everyone needs to see this. Everyone needs to know it. And the next person that's going to be in your shoes definitely needs to live by it day by day. It's a lifestyle, and it's your essence, and it's a part of who you are as your core being.
During December month, I was sitting on my stoep in Worcester. 5:05 the afternoon, I received a call. And it was a lady from the burger. And she said to me, they need my help. And the only person's number she got is Kenny Africa. I said, what's the problem? They say, we are in the Cederberge, somewhere in Ceres, far from nobody. And my little brother were busy chopping wood, and he chopped off his finger. And it was just hanging. And we don't know what to do.
And they phoned Kenny Africa.
Phoned me. And I immediately got hold of EMS, and I put them together, and I followed them and stayed in contact with them, direct them to the nearest hospital in Clanwilliam, out of the mountains. And the evening I received, 10 o'clock, I received a message from this lady. Vir wie bel jy as jy in die nood is? Jy bel vir Kenny Africa. And thank you, Mr. Africa. We saved my brother's finger.
Wow. That's amazing. I think on that note, we salute you, we bless you, and we humbly thank you for everything that you've done, for trying to get people to do the right thing on our roads.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Really
for being
it.
here. Thank you.
Thank you to the two of you.
Thank you for putting up with us.
You are doing a stunning job.
Thank
If anybody tells you you don't know what you do, then send them to me.
Oh, yes.
I will deal with them.
What's his number?
I've got the number, don't worry.
Thank you so much.
And to our listeners
you.
out there, don't do stupid things.
Don't.
When you're on the road, don't use a cell phone. Don't drink and drive. Because in the Western Cape, we will not tolerate this nonsense.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you so much for joining us again right here on Integrity Talks. We are looking so forward to Saturday, 14th of March. Make sure that you're locked on. We are going to be interviewing Nick Rabinowitz. He is an amazing man, a comedian. He's a serious comedian at times, but he's also quite funny. He's a family man, and he definitely lives his life with integrity. So don't forget, join us on Integrity Talks.